Hey guys, I'm just going to quickly show you how I create foot roll and foot controls for my characters. Been asked by a couple people, so here we go. Got a basic setup right now. Just a couple joints for the upper legs, the knee, the ankle, the ball, and the toes, and then controls as well. I just created 7 different locators. I'm just quickly renaming them now. And then I'm going to be parenting them all in a hierarchy. So the parent locator is going to be the inner roll. Child beneath that is the outer roll. Next is going to be the heel. Next is going to be the toe pivot. And then I've got a toe reverse locator, as well as a ball reverse locator. And finally, the last locator is going to be the ankle locator. So I'm just middle mouse button dragging to parent all these locators to each other. You can see that's the hierarchy that I have right now. So from here, I'm going to select the left toe reverse locator and duplicate that, and then delete the left ankle locator below. And I'm going to quickly rename these guys. This top locator is just going to be the left ball locator. And the locator below is going to be left toe locator. Now I'm just going to change the local scale for all these guys because they're a little big in the scene. So I'm going to bump this down to 0.001. And here I'm going to start positioning my locators. So my left inner roll, this is the top locator of the hierarchy. It's going to be on the inside portion of the foot. I selected the outer roll locator. Now I'm moving that to the outside, just dragging it along the x-axis. I selected the heel pivot. I'm going to center it back onto the same x value as where my foot controls are lining up. I'm just going to drag that back to the very end of the heel. So, and then I'll select the toe pivot. I'm going to drag that all the way to the very tip of the toe. So this is right to the outside of the toe. I know it's hard to see in this example, but my left toe reverse, I'm going to snap it to that actual joint right there. It's not a huge distance, but you can see that I move that guy right to into that joint. The ball, we snap to the ball, and then the ankle goes right up to the ankle. And so these last 2 joints that I duplicated, the ball goes to the ball again, and the toe goes to the toe. So I've basically got 2 different locators over top of each other there. One's a reverse, and one's just a regular for both the ball and the toe. So now I'm bringing up the node editor. You can see here. I'm going to be bringing in my foot roll control. Expanding those guys, I hit 3 on my keyboard. And now I'm just expanding the rotates. You can see I'm rotating both of these guys, and it's being rotated along the Z axis. You can see in the top right. So I'm just going to do a direct connection. Rotate Z to rotate Z. You can see how when I manipulate my control, my locator is following it. Which is cool, but I'm going to just create a clamp node. I hit Tab on my keyboard, and then start typing clamp and hit down and enter. I'm just going to connect this into the R values. Both again to rotate Z. So it's just a direct connection from to input R, and then my output R goes into the rotate Z of the locator. And for my values up here, I'm going to set max R to 180 and leave min R at 0. I'm just going to quickly rename my clamp one. Now you can see when I rotate this guy around, the locators stop at both 0 and 180 degrees, which is awesome. It's exactly what I want in this setup right now. I'm going to drag my rotate Z from my control into the G input, and then bring in my outer roll locator into the node editor. So I'll grab my output G from the clamp and drag it to the rotate Z of my locator and edit the value. This time I'm going to leave max G at 0. I'm going to switch min G to negative 180. So now you can see it's rotating and stopping, rotating, stopping. So I'm going to do the same thing for both the heel and the toe locators right now, but except on the x-axis instead of the z-axis. So I've got one more slot, the B input. So I'm going to grab my rotate X from my control, drag it into the B of the clamp, and then grab my output B and drag and drop that into my rotate X of my heel locator. Here I'm just manipulating the values again. Min B is going to be negative 180 degrees. You can see it stops when it should. And then I'm going to duplicate the clamp and just rename this to 02 instead of 01. And then I'll be dragging the rotate X of my foot roll control into the input R value. From here, I'm just bringing in my toe pivot locator into the node editor. My bad, the ball. Just going to zero these values out, and then I'll edit the max R to 180. See now, got rotation there. It actually messed up there. Here I should have used the output, but I had used the input initially. So now everything's hooked up properly. You can see my stream is going into the input and coming out of the output. So I've got one more step after this. I'm going to hit tab on my keyboard. Actually, I'm going to remove all these guys first. Just hit tab on my keyboard and bring in a node called the remap value. Right there at the bottom. I'll rename this guy. And I'm going to connect the rotate X of my control into the input value. I'm going to grab my left toe pivot, bring that into the node editor, and then connect the out value to rotate X. Then my remap value, I'm going to edit these numbers here. This first input min is going to be 20. Input max is going to be 380. And then output min is 0. Output max is 360. So basically what this is going to do is that locator is going to start rotating, but only after my control has started rotating 20 degrees. So you can see there's a bit of delay on that front locator there. It doesn't rotate right away, but after 20 degrees, it'll start rotating again. All right, so here I'm going to start adding some custom attributes to my left and right foot controls. Select them and go edit, add attributes. This first attribute, I'm just creating a separator, so that's 10 underscores in a row. And then I select displayable and 0, 0 for min and max. Now I'm going to be adding a toe pivot. Just hit add. The next one is going to be a heel pivot. Just leaving the settings at their defaults. Hit add. The next one's going to be a ball wave. The last one's going to be a heel toe wave. You can see that to the right, these guys are being populated as I hit apply or add. So now both my controls have the same custom attributes. Now I'm going to connect them up inside the node editor. Got my control in there. And I'm first going to bring in my toe pivots locator. I'll just do a direct connection. This is from toe pivot to the rotate rotate Y. The actual locator. I'm going to grab my heel pivot now. Bring that locator in. And again, connect the heel pivot to rotate Y. See, as I manipulate the toe pivot, we've got a pivot working. We'll do the same to the heel. Got that guy working as well. And this is where I bring in both the ball and the toe locators, the default ones. Let's do a direct connection. And it'll be to their x-axes. So ball wave to rotate x, ball locator. Comes the toe. And toe wave to rotate x. That's the toe locator. Now as I manipulate these guys, you can see that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. All right, so I'm just adding some parent constraints here. My ball locator is going to my ball joint. That's just a regular parent constraint. I reset the values. And then toe locator is going to go to the toe joint. So parent constraint there. And I'm just going to quickly create an IK handle for this left leg. That's a rotate plane solver. This is just for demonstration. I'm going to grab that left ankle locator and do another parent constraint. And I'm actually going to create a group that all of these locators sit underneath and place it at the ankle location of my ankle joint. Just going to rename it and then throw all my locators underneath. Keep the same hierarchy, but just throw them underneath. And then just going to create a parent constraint, and that's with my control. And you can see the locators and the feet are following the way that they should be. And then my pivot control is working the way that I want it to be as well. There's a toe pivot, heel pivot, my ball wave, and my toe wave. That's pretty much it. So this is what it looks like when everything's skinned to this mesh here. One last thing, I'm adding an orient constraint. And this is from the ankle to the ankle joint. So the ankle locator to the ankle joint. And I can see that that rotates properly. So if it's working as it should, got our toe pivots, our heel pivots, got a ball wave, toe wave, and our rolling, which is exactly what I wanted. All right, guys, I hope this helps you. We'll see you later.